Now, I've been a fan of the Legend of Zelda series for about 5 years now, and has quickly grown to be one of my top 3 favorite series in all of video games. The reason it took me so long to get into this series was not because of not knowing about the series, but solely because Zelda games just weren't my cup of tea in my younger days. I was more primarily into games like Sonic, Mario, Naruto Ultimate Ninja series, and so on. Seeing the daunting task of completing puzzles and mazes really kept me away from this series, but just in 2013 I picked up my very first Zelda game, Oracle of Seasons. But today isn't about that game. Today, we will be covering chronically the second game in the Legend of Zelda series, The Legend of Zelda: The Minish Cap. The beginning of our journey starts with Hyrule Castle hosting a sword fighting tournament in celebration of when the Picori Blade arrived in Hyrule, when our lovely Princess Zelda runs straight to Link's house excited about the big day, and of course our young hero is fast asleep as usual. Once Link wakes up, we are well on our way to Hyrule Town. But peace as we know in Hyrule can never be maintained, as a young mysterious sword fighter who won the tournament appeared waiting for his opportunity to hold the sword, since the winner for some reason was awarded the opportunity to hold the Picori Blade. It's revealed this person's name is Vaati, and if you haven't picked up already, looks evil as is, and strikes the Hyrule guards. Along with this, destroying the blade in two, and turning Princess Zelda to stone. Crazy how it only took roughly around 15 minutes before shit hit the fan. But anyway, the King of Hyrule tasks young Link with the responsibility of restoring the blade's power to free Princess Zelda, and defeat Vaati, and you are thrown out into the vast world of Hyrule like last night's leftovers. The goal of this game is the same as any other Zelda game. Go to your respective dungeons where you have to solve puzzles and retrieve the 4 elements, in which is the only way to restore the Picori Blade to its true form, and that is which, the Force Sword. Which I will get to later in this video, but before any of this, we are introduced to Ezlo, our trustworthy hat that will give us advice throughout our journey. Now, this isn't a normal hat as you can obviously tell, since it can talk and move. This hat was the master of Vaati, whom both were a part of the Minish family, and to put it simply, Vaati wanted more power, and heard about the magical cap that can grant any person a wish. He later then turned Ezlo into his fat hat form that we see him in, and Vaati took a form of an evil wizard. I would like to also point out that Ezlo isn't annoying like 2 infamous helpers in previous Zelda titles. The game also has a share few of side quests that really are what you expect from a Zelda game. You do these side quests to get a bottle, extra rupees, heart containers, and etc. The one new thing added exclusively to this game is kinstones, which are little stones to collect along your journey that will allow you to access secret areas in the game that you would not be able to access by any other means, or they may be required to advance in a story. There are 4 colors to these kinstones, in which they are green, blue, red, and gold. Green being the least rare to gold being the only stones that are required to proceed through the main story. Oh, don't you worry. They will surely let you know when these gold stones are needed, because there will be obstacles in your way and you cannot access these points without those stones, so have fun backtracking throughout the area to find. Now, I wouldn't say these stones are a hassle, but they really weren't needed in this game, considering some of the side quests you don't really need these stones to obtain things like extra arrows, bombs, or a bigger wallet. I can see what they were trying to go for to add more variety to the game and make it seem unique, but it just could not fly with me. But enough with that rambling, on to these dungeons finally. Just like there are 4 elements to collect, there are 4 dungeons as well, each with their own unique challenges. There's Deep Wood Shrine, Cave of Flames, Fortress of Winds, and its Temple of Droplets. But out of all of these dungeons slash temples, I can say the hardest one in my opinion is the Temple of Droplets, just because of so much backtracking and the godforsaken ice physics, one of the most annoying game mechanics in gaming history. You also have to deal with sliding blocks into these rays of light just to melt them, and pushing the blocks into the right placement in order to even advance to the next room. Not to mention, in the beginning of the temple teaches you so hard to finding the boss key, literally 5 minutes into the temple, just to find out you need to climb all the way back to the top floor to melt the stupid iceberg holding one of the elements. Other than that, the boss fights in this game are very simple and straight to the point. Use the item you just received to find the boss weakness and fight your way to victory. The same goes for all the other bosses in the game as well. I wouldn't say any of them are difficult. Yeah, they may have their challenges, but they aren't impossible. And there aren't any cheating mechanics just to knock you off the stage and force you to start the whole boss all over again like in Link to the Past. Once she beat all the dungeons and received their elements, it is now on to face Vati, who has turned all of Hyrule into his own little playground of darkness to hunt down Link and retrieve the 4 swords. Because of course that is his weakness. Reach his palace, fight his various forms, save Princess Zelda, and all of Hyrule was saved. Now I know it seems like I shortened that part up a bit, but that's literally all there is to the final confrontation. Yeah, he has 3 forms to make his fights more interesting, but once you find his patterns, it's just a piece of cake. And also, in my opinion, very anticlimactic. Maybe because Vati makes another appearance in 4 swords, who knows. The ending just left me longing for more Vati because despite of his very simplistic goals, he's probably one of my favorite Zelda villains. He has a great design, he isn't dragged down by being another form of Ganon, and to boot, his origin isn't complicated to understand. I can say this is definitely one of the most underrated Zelda games in the series, and also the Zelda timeline. He doesn't have a hefty story like Ocarina of Time, Twilight Princess, and Link to the Past, but it gets the job done enough considering, like I said before, the second game chronically in the timeline. I would highly recommend this game if you're a die-hard Zelda fan, or even just getting into the series, to definitely give this game a chance, and I guarantee you will love this game. I give this my personal score of a 4 out of 5. Not enough Vati. I hope you all enjoyed my very first, I guess you can say, serious review of a game. There are definitely many more to come if you guys liked it. Obviously this isn't a perfect review, but I put my all into this and I will only get better from here. So if you all can just share this video with at least one person each to make this review series the best there is out there, and it would be greatly appreciated. Also, don't forget to leave a like, subscribe, and comment on any feedback you have. I also have a Discord server that is brand spanking new if you want to join, and I'll be perfectly fine. If you don't, then that's also fine. But I will see you all in the next video. Bye bye.